What's next? I just ran into a dog off leash and he ran up towards me growling. And I stood my ground because there's nothing else I could do. And put my hand out just to avoid any potential so that if he's going to bite me, he's going to bite my arm rather than biting my other part of my body. And he ran by me, came back, and went back to his owner. She put him on the leash, which he should have been on in the first place, and he went crazy. And one of the things I've learned just by reading is that dogs on leash are far more dangerous than dogs off leash, which is good, because you can gain control of them. A dog who is aggressive should always be on a leash, but maybe he's just all bark and no bite, not my problem. But I'm bringing this up because I did the right thing. And she said, "I'm sorry about that." My response was, "Well, he's doing his job." Okay. And I walked away. And that, for me, was the right answer, right response. But deep down inside of me, my ego had all kinds of good responses. My ego had, there are leash laws for a reason. That dog should be on a leash. Another reaction was, if he bit me, you would be sorry, and you wouldn't have a dog anymore. And what was another one that I was... Oh, my final one. Irresponsible dog owners like you are the reason for leash laws. Keep that dog on a leash. Those are my responses I did not say. And if I did say any one of those responses, although totally justified in my opinion, they would have put her on the defensive. And her on the defensive, she would have been justified in, well, and got angry and then forgot about any lessons she would have learned from having her dog off leash. Now, being nice about it and telling her, your dog's doing his job, it might put a kernel, a teeny tiny piece in her brain to tell her that maybe she shouldn't be walking her dog off leash in a public park. Yes, it is a Sunday, and although it's a Sunday and there are lots of people walking, lots of people on a beautiful day, so there's a higher potential for her to run into people, strangers, and other dogs. If that dog attacked another dog, she'd be in trouble. So these things that might be going into her head, that maybe if she can't always be in control of her dog, that maybe she should keep him on a leash. But like I said, a dog on leash is far more aggressive than a dog off leash because it's kind of like a tethering line. Kind of like the group mentality. Nothing to protect. And I was not a threat. Maybe he realized that by running at me, that I was not a threat. He ran by me and came back to his owner. That's one thing I will never be between an owner and their dog. Unfortunately, when the dog is next to their owner and runs towards you and then runs around you, you're between the dog and their owner. And then you just have to stand your ground and be prepared to defend yourself. Sometimes I will walk these trails with a stick, only because some of these trails are a little slippery when it's wet or in the winter. But also, I have a phobia is it a phobia of coyotes or a logical fear of them being hidden somewhere? Since coyotes pretty much avoid people unless there's some kind of opportunity, we'll call it a phobia. Because honestly, I've never seen a coyote in these woods except when I had my dog. And that just might have been a thing for the coyote to say, hey, I know where you are, you know where I am, and let's just make this peaceful. Because I do know that coyotes if a human approaches, will not move. They will stay still because they know that their best camouflage is to stay still. But I digress. Sometimes the right answer to every conflict is to find the most peaceful response, but make it short, to the point, because you don't want to let them off the hook completely. You just want to diffuse any negative responses towards you, so hopefully they'll learn their lesson, because that's all life is about, learning little lessons. Because we can all learn a lesson or two. No one's perfect, and even perfect people know they're always learning. What's next?